this is Bitcoin on the weekly. A lot of people panicking in the short term. And we can talk about a recession. We can talk about an absolute collapse. But I want to say something as we get ready to dive into this video. My thought is March 2025 is not when it's going to happen. We can talk about 2026, 2027, be concerned, start looking for certain signs. But right now, I do not think it is time. And in this video, I want to talk about that a little bit in relation to Bitcoin. I actually want to look at ADA chart as a representation of altcoins. It's a very nice monthly chart, in my opinion. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's just jump into it. I want to start with this post from Mike. It is a very interesting time. Sentiment is as dark as March 2020, but there is no pandemic. There are influencers who claim to have conviction yesterday who are capitulating today. Recession and bear market fears are rampant. These are not the conditions typically seen at tops. I 100% agree with Mike. And there are some things we disagree with, but oftentimes Mike makes posts like this and we are on the same page. Here's the fear and greed index. Stock market has now been in extreme fear since February 25, the longest stretch of time since 2022. You know what 2022 was, everybody? 2022 was the bottom of the bear market. And if you look at where we are right now, we're kind of in that same fear environment, and people are saying, now it's the beginning of the bear market. We're going into recession. This is getting very bad. And I want to go over just data. I'm not trying to be just an absolute permeable, just only throwing hopium out there, but I just can't ignore the data that is right in front of all of us while everybody is distracted by short-term fear and short-term headlines. I can't ignore it. Let me go over it. So first off, we know the short-term fear and uncertainty is stemming from right now the Fed meeting tomorrow. Is Powell going to allude to quantitative easing finally getting ready to happen, end of quantitative tightening? We'll see. But it's also this. There will be little disruption, but it won't be very long. We have to do this. I'm sorry, we have to do this. It's the tariffs. Everybody freaking out about the tariffs. But follow me for just a moment. I saw this post. What if the data that I'm seeing and the data that many people are seeing, what if it plays out? Okay? So what if Fed ends quantitative tightening this month, or at least hints at the fact that it is getting ready to end? 3 dots on the rate cut dot plot. They ramp up stealth quantitative easing in May. Go look at Polymarket in regards to these things. Economic data strong in April, because I think America is getting ready to really enter an economic boom. Inflation low. Obviously, we've seen it tanking recently. Tariffs equal nothing. So all of this fear and uncertainty that people are just kind of going crazy about ends, right? And just all of a sudden, everybody forgot about the tariffs. And a U.S. official, tariff uncertainty to be resolved in April. And this is a key economic advisor to President Trump, pushed back against the recession talks and just saying tariff uncertainty should be resolved in April, he said. So imagine that. The dollar falls. Going to look at the dollar chart. Gold corrects with flows into Bitcoin. Going to look at that chart. These are things we've discussed, and the rest of the world goes into heavy easing. What if this happens, everybody? What if this happens? 182,000 Bitcoin, 7K ETH by end of July. So first, let's look at gold. I want to look at US dollar. I'm going to look at Bitcoin, and I'm going to look at Cardano. Here's gold. Last cycle, gold was going crazy. Right? Summer 2020, topped out eventually, started falling. And it was November 2020, right around here, after gold started falling, that entered the Bitcoin and crypto bull market. Remember, Bitcoin broke those bull market doors. That's what the gold chart was doing. Going crazy. Bitcoin and crypto wasn't entering its bull market yet. And then it entered the bull market after gold started falling. Is gold going to start falling soon? Watch for that on the gold chart. US dollar. You know, we've been talking a lot about Trump 2 cycles ago. The Trump term, US dollar, as he comes into office, really starts falling, right? There's our bull market starting for crypto while the US dollar is falling. But even look at last cycle. US dollar started falling, and it was really just months later where the Bitcoin bull market and crypto bull market started right here in November 2020. US dollar has started falling. And if we get a repeat of Trump's first term, guess what? US dollar likely will continue to fall. Can we get these pullbacks to the key moving averages? US dollar, we could see kind of up to 106, 107 again, testing key moving averages maybe, I don't know. But either way, it looks like it's on a certain trajectory that is bullish for crypto. But now let's just talk about crypto. Let's talk about the charts. I'm not going to show a very long clip here, okay? But I do just want to mention something. Look at what we were talking about. And I won't even show a clip, okay? But what we were talking about was we're entering just this breakout area of that neckline on the screen, and it was the throwback to the neckline area itself, right? Potential for the throwback. And if it were to happen, that's what it would look like, right? Kind of got the mid 70s right there. It doesn't matter. Tariffs, no tariffs, Fed meeting tomorrow, no Fed meeting tomorrow. This move, a very normal move. I've been following Bolkowski for years, thepatternsight.com. If you want to really learn technical analysis, this is one resource that has been very helpful to me. I've covered this probably since almost I started this YouTube channel, just because I just think it's a great resource. He talks about head and shoulders pullback rates of 68%. Since we have an inverse head and shoulders, this is a throwback rate, but around the same, around 70%. Meaning around 70% of the time, we get a move like this, a retest of the neckline. Doesn't matter what markets are doing. It's just something to anticipate anyway, and Bitcoin is in the move. And we have this high fear right now in the short term, similar to what was going on back here in the bear market lows, with a Fed pivot on the short-term horizon. I think right now, with all of these things coming together, it is a good idea to be careful if you're just so bearish. If you're buying in to this notion that we are in a crazy bear market and it's going to be terrible, I just would be careful. I will say this. On the short term, in terms of the bottoming out of it, there could be some volatility and more downside, right? We could have looked back here and been like, man, the bottom is in, right? You can see 55,000 bottom in. All right, the bottom's in, we're cruising, and then boom, we went to test 50,000, right? That could happen now. Bottom's in, right? And then boom, we're falling lower to lower 70s. Maybe Bitcoin even falls into the 60s. We can start evaluating what a higher low might look like from this previous swing low back there. But right now, whether it's a bottom is in, whether it's at 75,000, whether it's at 65,000, I really think it's a good idea to pay attention to the macroeconomic atmosphere that not only we're in right now, but we're actually getting ready to enter when we're looking at charts like Bitcoin and we're looking at crypto. Now, speaking of crypto and altcoins, I think this does a really good job of just illustrating in general, not only the volatility of altcoins, but what could be in store. If Cardano ran from 30 cents, and this is my mindset, if it ran from 30 cents to $1.30, dipped to 50, then ran to $1.20, and then dropped to 50, by the way, it's just absolutely the roller coaster. It almost sometimes it's exhausting. I 100% will agree with that. I think we share that sentiment at the very least, whether you're bull or bear. It's exhausting. Then drop to 50 cents again right now, and then send it to $10. Would you be glad you stayed in the game? Because that's crypto, and that's a very real scenario here. So let's look at that move. Here's the Bitcoin, or here's ADA on the monthly. This higher low trend, I call it a super trend. We have room to the downside, I should say, on the monthly chart. Maybe we see downside on Bitcoin and crypto. The room is there for ADA. But if we go to a weekly chart, this is really what just happened. Right around 30 cents. ADA was right around 30 cents. I mean, in the bear market, it was in the 20s, close to 20 cents. But 30 cents to $1.30, back to 50, right? Back to $1.20 most recently. Now we're at 70, and maybe we fall to 50. And the reason I'm using the 50 level is because if we take the swing low here to swing high, we have our Fibonacci range, this green range. The 786 is right around 50 cents, 49, 50 cents. What does the bottom look like, though? I mean, is it lower? Do we test this super trend line that I have here that I've been showing on the monthly? Are we falling into the 40s? in the coming weeks. Where's the higher low for ADA? We don't know what the higher low for Bitcoin would look like necessarily. In the same sense, we don't know what the higher low for ADA will look like necessarily. My mindset is I've committed to being here in the space long term. I've have my thesis for this space for something like ADA. And so if ADA is going to fall and it gets even more brutal, this is my mindset. It just is what it is. And I don't want it to happen, but I accept it and I'm prepared for it. But I am reminding myself of what is happening from a monetary cycle perspective. And how I started this video, I said, we can talk about the recession and the bear market. It's not like I'll never talk about these things. I just think spring of 2025, and maybe I'm wrong, everybody, okay? I could be wrong. I just don't think, this is my opinion, spring of 2025 is it, right? So if we get this pivot, the Fed balance sheet goes into expansion mode, crypto just starts going crazy. Let's just say it happens. Maybe in that move over the coming months or whenever it happens, if it happens, we can start dissecting what bear data to look out for. And I will. I don't mean to be just a perma bull. I'm just bullish still on this cycle. And I'm trying to lay out the groundwork in terms of why. And I try and do it very quickly so the videos are not too long. But these are my thoughts today. Let's see what crypto does, especially going into the Fed's meeting tomorrow. I'd anticipate a lot of volatility. I'd anticipate, a breakdown for crypto. I just would. The 50-week moving average right around here, 58 cents for ADA, that next area of support for ADA, I would say. If it's going to break down, and then Bitcoin, we go look at a Bitcoin daily chart, you can see just this neckline area in red, all down there in the mid 70s to upper 70s. So let's see what crypto does. All the while, we can continue to track just the momentum of it all. And that's just probably for another video. We can do short-term analysis, maybe later, maybe tomorrow. But either way, everybody, those are my thoughts, and that's all it is. Hit the subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and turn those notifications on. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.